We're following orders and getting ready to move our operations to Sichuan. Many large companies from Guangdong are relocating there this year, but we can't afford to fall behind. This is the great migration to the west, always following the party's direction. We're dismantling equipment and getting ready to relocate. I've run a PCBA circuit board and R&D and production factory in Dongguan for over 10 years. Now we're listening to the party and heading to Sichuan. Have you heard? The higher-ups have allocated 2.15 trillion yuan. I heard that Dazhou received over 93 billion yuan. We're planning to move a few departments back to Sichuan, but I haven't decided where yet. Should it be Mianyang, Chengdu, or Dazhou? Would you be willing to move back to Sichuan with us?
Recently, platforms across China have been filled with videos like these. Many companies in Guangdong have declared that they're responding to the party's call, preparing to move their factories to Sichuan. They say that the province is set for major development, supported by a 2.15 trillion yuan infrastructure fund from central policies. There's also talk that within the next 5 years, some labor-intensive industries will be transferred from the eastern coastal regions to the central and western parts of the country, including major corporations like Huawei, GAC Group, and Foxconn. Rumors suggest this strategic shift isn't just about relocating industries, but is also seen as preparation for potential wartime scenarios. There's also speculation about moving the capital from Beijing to Sichuan during times of conflict. Do you know what it means for Guangdong to move factories to Sichuan? It's preparation for war. China must now establish 2 strong central regions. In case of conflict, coastal cities are the most vulnerable, but Sichuan, surrounded by mountains, is easy to defend and hard to attack, making it ideal for hiding equipment. This is not a simple relocation. It's about being proactive. Although the coast has its advantages, the risks are too high. The tall mountains and long rivers of Sichuan serve as a natural shield. What may seem like a straightforward factory move actually part of a larger plan. There are also videos from Sichuan locals showing scenes of new factories being built and relocated there.
A lot of factories from Guangdong are moving to Sichuan. Look, there's massive construction going on here. For the folks from Sichuan who work in Guangdong, hurry back and become landlords. Start collecting rent.
I'm currently in Pixian, Sichuan. Our new construction site has already started, and now the containers are being unloaded one after another. There are also widespread rumors online about a mass relocation campaign underway in Sichuan, with reports suggesting that tens of thousands of households in Chengdu, the provincial capital, are involved. Videos of residents signing relocation and compensation agreements have also been circulating. Look, they're signing the relocation agreements. You see that? On October 15th, a relocation map of Chengdu went viral online. These bold relocation marks seemed to signal immense wealth flooding towards the people of Sichuan. Some netizens claimed they received significant compensation from relocation deals, including several properties and cash payments ranging from 9 million to even 50 million yuan, with each household receiving more than the last. Overnight, many generations of impoverished residents in Sichuan suddenly became millionaires, earning them the nickname second-generation demolishers. The people of Sichuan and Chongqing are standing tall again. My childhood memories may be gone, but I've gained 3 houses and 2.6 million yuan. I'll never have to cut pigweed again, and I'm going to quit my lousy job. Some local netizens have also shared that they woke up, opened Douyin, and found people calling them Boss Sichuan. What a powerful nickname. Many people from other provinces expressed their envy and frustration, wishing they were born in Sichuan to share in this sudden fortune.
Some of my colleagues didn't come to work today. They quit. Their families got relocated. I'm not really in the mood to work either. I need some time to process this. Why wasn't my family getting relocated? I wish I could be part of this too. I'm envious, really envious.
There are also videos online urging couples in Sichuan to hurry and get their marriage certificates.
Chengdu has announced the relocation areas, and most of them are in the main urban areas. This will lead to many second-generation demolishers. When your boyfriend or girlfriend becomes a second-generation demolisher, can you be sure they won't leave you? So hurry up, get your marriage certificate.
For a while, Sichuan became the center of online discussions, with the relocations and factory moves trending online. The news led to a surge in related stocks. Riding on the wave of positive news, many hit their price limits. However, the buzz about the Sichuan relocations was quickly debunked by official sources. According to Chinese media reports, a comparison between an image from the Chengdu Housing Group app and government documents showed that while there are indeed relocation projects, they have not suddenly surged recently, but have been ongoing over the past year or more. Claims of multi-million yuan compensation packages were baseless, with much of the talk online being exaggerated and misleading. Rumors from the Chengdu Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau said, "We know this is all a rumor. None of it is true." Similarly, a representative from the Chengdu Planning and Natural Resources Bureau stated, "If there's any land acquisition or relocation, it will be announced on our official website, with all compensation standards outlined in policy documents. There's no scenario where a single household would receive millions in compensation." However, the authorities did not deny rumors about relocating the economic, cultural, and political center to the southwestern inland region due to the possibility of war. There are also videos from netizens showing the shattered dreams of residents hoping to get rich overnight from relocations. According to local residents, the highest compensation for residential properties is 560 yuan per square meter, meaning that a 400 square meter house would only receive around tens of thousands of yuan. "We live in residential properties. My house is over 400 square meters, and I only received a little over 10,000 yuan. The highest payout is 590 yuan per square meter. For businesses, it's 1,400 to 1,500 yuan per square meter. For farmland, some get tens of thousands, others a few 100,000, but never millions. The most was only about 200 to 300,000 yuan. There are also reports that in Dazhou, Sichuan, some farmers even had to pay out of their own pockets to afford resettlement housing. A lawyer from Beijing posted a video mentioning a case he was handling related to relocation compensation in Dazhou.
In Dazhou, Sichuan, people are having to pay extra out of pocket for relocation. Compensation is only 600 yuan per square meter, but resettlement housing nearby costs 4,000 yuan per square meter. To get the same living space, they need to pay tens of thousands more. Poor families, who are already struggling, end up worse off despite trying to support the construction.
The blogger argues that this kind of compensation is not legal, insisting that residents should at least receive resettlement housing equal to their original space. This illustrates how the online talk about getting rich overnight from relocations was clearly exaggerated to grab attention. A commentary in the Hong Kong Economic Journal on October 21st analyzed that the so-called mass relocations in Sichuan are based on a certain logic. Online posts claimed that the government is pushing a Western strategic shift because if China were to engage in an external war, the southeastern coast would be easily targeted by enemy missiles, facing the first wave of attacks. Therefore, there's a need to gradually move the economic, cultural, and political hubs to the inland southwest. As a land of abundance, Sichuan, with its natural barriers and proximity to the Belt and Road network, becomes the ideal location. This necessitates freeing up large urban areas in Sichuan to accommodate key institutions, businesses, and industries. The article suggests that, from this perspective, Sichuan stands to benefit not just from one-off relocations, but from continuous policy incentives, which explains the surge in related concept stocks. However, many locals remain skeptical, viewing it all as just hype for clicks. Please stop hyping up the idea of Sichuan's newfound wealth. Recently, Sichuan has been a hot topic, with claims that infrastructure projects in many provinces have stalled, while over 2 trillion yuan worth of projects in Sichuan continue. People are saying that Sichuan is booming. I admire how some people exaggerate things just for the clicks. The truth is, these 2 trillion yuan worth of projects began years ago and weren't recently planned. Besides, 99% of Sichuan residents won't see a dime from these projects. Even if infrastructure is improved, if people's pockets remain empty, they'll still have to leave to find work. What really needs to be addressed is how to raise the incomes of local people. Only when Sichuan residents no longer have to go elsewhere for work and can instead stay home and collect rent like people in Guangdong, we will truly be living well. I'm telling you, don't just believe everything you see online. Lately, there's been so much hype about how Sichuan is on the rise, how billions have been invested here. Honestly, as a Sichuan native, I felt a bit excited when I first heard it, but when I thought about it, What does it really mean for us ordinary folks? All that money won't be coming to us, right? We just need to keep doing our jobs, tightening screws, moving bricks, working late nights. Online discussions also suggest that the hype around Sichuan's boom may be driven by vested interests, possibly real estate industry players. Given China's strict internet regulations, the fact that such widespread news is allowed to spread suggests it might have official backing. After all, creating hype opens up many opportunities. For example, many people might start thinking about buying property in Sichuan, driving up real estate prices, which could help local governments manage their debt.
Sichuan's supposed takeoff? What a joke. Do you know why there are so many rumors online about Sichuan right now? It's because of local debt in the region. It's under immense pressure. Many places in Sichuan are struggling with massive local debt. Isn't everything being done now to help resolve this debt? Think carefully before you become someone else's way out of debt. If you still can't see the reality behind all this, you can't blame anyone if you get taken advantage of. Look at all the talk about increased transactions and so on. No matter how it's spun, people are still jumping on board, right? It's all the same. You might as well just consider it as spending money. But the reality is, many people are getting confused, misled by various rumors and media outlets online. Honestly, I think there's way too much nonsense on social media these days. Where's the money coming from for the relocations? Relocations need funds, compensation. That supposed 6 trillion yuan hasn't even been approved in any meeting yet. Yet now the whole country is waiting to resolve the debt issue. Local debts can't be paid off, so where would the money for you come from? And what's the point of tearing things down? Just to rebuild them? In an earthquake zone no less, with limited land in the west? Why demolish and rebuild? It's too costly. How could people be so naive? The stock market isn't even going up, yet they keep pushing agendas.
Though the talk of sky-high relocation compensation is false, there's some truth to the strategic inland positioning, the 2.15 trillion yuan investment, and the industrial relocation. In April this year, President Xi Jinping chaired a meeting on promoting Western development, and in August, the Politburo revealed documents to push forward Western development, mentioning deep integration with the Belt and Road and developing and expanding regional subcenters. On April 7th, the Sichuan Province Territorial Spatial Planning 2021 to 2035 plan was approved by the State Council, officially designating Sichuan as a strategic inland area for national development. On April 23rd, the Sichuan Development and Reform Commission released a list of key projects, with 330 major projects to start within the next 2 to 3 years, totaling 2.15 trillion yuan. This is the origin of the much-discussed figure. On September 25th, a national-level document stated that labor-intensive industries should be guided to move from the east to the central and western regions, from central cities to inland areas. Multiple major policy documents indeed show that the CCP has a comprehensive strategic plan for Sichuan. Some commentators in Chinese media pointed out that this plan is not only aimed at boosting the central and western regions, but also at addressing increasingly complex international situations. So, it's clear that the Western development is part of a national strategy, but there are also those leveraging the strategy to stir up the stock market for profit. Since mid-October, social media across China has been abuzz with the news that 1,500 companies from coastal Guangdong are set to relocate to Sichuan. An article claimed that 1,500 companies, including TCL Group, Lenovo, and Huawei, are set to embark on this large-scale relocation. Additionally, a message about a major national decision involving the relocation of 10 major companies from Guangdong has also been circulating on multiple platforms online. The posts included specific relocation numbers: TCL Group, 68,000 employees; Hekutai Electronics, 35,000; Zhengwei International Group, 20,000; Gree Electric Appliances, 7,000; Weihua Corporation, 6,500. However, despite the widespread news, many still question the feasibility of the strategic shift. Some online analyses argue that relocating coastal industries to Sichuan isn't realistic. Guangdong and the Jiangsu-Zhejiang regions have already established complete industrial structures and have excellent transportation networks. Meanwhile, although Sichuan has some industrial base, its structure is less developed, and the terrain, which is dominated by mountains, lacks convenient transport. Companies like Huawei, DJI, Gree, CTL and Zhengwei are reportedly planning to move to Sichuan. People are signing relocation agreements, and they seem quite happy about it. Some believe this is part of transferring labor-intensive industries to support Western development. I saw documents mentioning labor-intensive industries, saying capital, technology, and talent would be moved there. But the thing is, these companies will be scattered across various cities, not concentrated in specialized industrial parks. Do you see the problem? This isn't an economic strategy or an industrial strategy. It's not normal. An industrial strategy should be based on existing foundations, respecting development rules. If you want to establish an industrial park, that's fine. Focus on strategic new industries, but directing companies to move, that's not an industrial strategy. It's scary. Some netizens also commented, how is this possible? Moving even a small factory costs tens or hundreds of thousands. How can small and medium-sized enterprises afford to relocate? And transporting finished goods is another issue. The cost for transporting products and materials will both increase. Is this a way to bankrupt small businesses? They're already struggling to survive. On October 19th, Guangzhou Daily published a report debunking the rumors. However, the report did not specify which companies were denying the rumors, and Guangdong officials have not made any public statements to refute these claims. Financial blogger Lao Man analyzed that the idea of shifting industries to the West has been talked about over a decade, but it has been ineffective. A few companies were lured into moving west, only to deeply regret it after facing numerous difficulties. Today, if Chinese private companies consider relocating, their top choice would be Southeast Asia. Vietnam is nearly saturated, while Indonesia and Malaysia remain good alternatives. But moving westward within China? Even the least strategic businesses wouldn't do that. As for state-owned enterprises, their production layout is already set for the long term, with no intention of shifting production to the West. The most absurd part of this Western development is that there has been no official documentation, no promotional activities, and no mobilization or organization from any level of the Sichuan government. Clearly, these rumors are entirely unfounded, with their origins traced back to a few minor media outlets in the capital market. Remarkably, they still managed to attract investors. Commentator Li Lingyi told the Epoch Times that the rumors of massive relocations imply that if Xi Jinping were to attack Taiwan, coastal cities would bear the brunt, and even the CCP's capital might need to relocate to inland areas like Sichuan. This isn't a good omen. Local officials likely don't dare to publicly debunk these claims, and companies can't casually confirm or deny them. Radio Free Asia reported that Tian Qiguang, a scholar studying the Third Front construction, was recently interviewed and initially thought the news about Guangdong companies moving to the southwest was false. However, he later discovered that the State Council does have such plans. He described this mindset as war thinking. The Third Front construction, which began in 1964, was a massive initiative by the CCP to build defense, technology, industry, electricity, and transportation infrastructure in inland provinces, aimed at preparing for potential war or disaster. Tian Qiguang criticized the CCP's war thinking, saying it exacerbates international tensions and even carries an element of intimidation, which could ultimately lead to failed projects.